Hey, welcome. It's the grade 8. Well, it's just the grade 2 today. I don't know where them other two, I don't know where they're at. Where'd they go? Are they even here?
I met them in the hallway. I don't know where they went. I know where Jim went.
They get a hall pass?
I don't know. I asked Brett where he was going in the hallway, and he didn't answer me.
Oh.
So.
Well, we ought to have a pretty good conversation today if it's just us.
Oh.
Oh, well, no, we didn't have
Brett
to.
has arrived.
Brett's here.
Where the hell did he go? Jim was in here when I left.
I don't know.
I think he had a call of nature.
Yeah. He had a caller on the line. Everything come out okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. So welcome to episode 8. Oh, we started without you because we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it was.
I just burped.
Well, that's okay. I mean, I mean,
can edit it out.
So Jim left during the introduction?
No, he was gone.
no, he was gone, and then we just decided we were going to start without you.
I had to go to the bathroom.
Well,
I already had my coffee from McDonald's.
Oh,
And I got my
I'm feature winner here. Check it out.
Rockstar. Hey, we're going to talk about those.
Yes. I think instead of feature winner stickers, we give out these feature winner. Smells new car
Which
scent.
scent is
Raspberry
this?
parfait.
Well, no, they need to be the black ice ones. I mean, because that's the one everybody wants is the black ice.
Or the leather ones. Have you had the leather one yet?
No.
They make ones leather, too, that's actually pretty good. I
Really?
like black ice and leather.
Black ice is good. Black
That's more
ice is
fruity.
fine. Oh, look
That's
at
a
this.
raspberry.
Oh, Jim did finally.
He made
We
it.
had like a
Jim
Better
from
late than
Omaha,
never.
welcome to the show.
we had like a
We are live, Jim.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we
on.
are.
we had like a
started
smelling
recording.
contest to pick the scents on what we actually did for those.
I mean, how old are these?
Those just came in the mail like
Yesterday.
2 days ago.
I think it was yesterday.
What?
2 days ago.
They're brand new. What do you mean? How old are they? See, we initially did one with a small logo on it. I don't
Well, yeah,
like
because
that.
that one's in. I've had one of those before, but
I
I,
don't like
never
that
had
one
the
as much.
feature winner one.
But you know, it spawned an idea.
Ooh.
I know. I have them
Are
occasionally.
you like a salmon?
See something like that.
He's swimming upstream.
A lot of times with no paddle.
So here's what happened, right? So
Okay.
this is how this somewhat happened. Well, one, my
Oh,
neighbors.
here, I want to get here so the people can.
My neighbor's a used car salesman, right? And you did, when you went to Southern Oklahoma, you did some video apparently with Garrett, I think, like off your phone or something, right? And I had his scented.
Oh yeah, the Rooster Dude's got one. It's on.
Correct.
It's on the old Super Dave van.
Yeah, so he said, "Hey, thanks for showing that." Giving him some airtime. And I'm like, "You really saw it?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "That's a good idea. Can you tell me where you bought those?" So I bought some IMCA ones. We had like a scent smelling contest or whatever you want
like
to call it.
30 samples, I think.
We started
a lot.
losing. Yeah, it was like when you have to.
That's what that box was here, and I kept
Flush
asking
your
you
senses.
about. And like, what do you want with these things?
Long story short, so I bought some with IMCA on them, right?
Yep.
Right, and so and then my wife gets in my truck not that long ago, right? And she's your truck smells. I'm like, what do you mean my truck smells? She said, it smells like
Good or bad?
She always said it smells like a fart.
Probably if it's your truck.
Anybody who's been spent time in your office
Oh my God,
knows
first
that's
of all,
not
I'm
far from the
surprised she
truth.
even gets in your truck because she doesn't like it. She doesn't like the wheels.
Yeah,
she thinks the tires are too gaudy.
She is not the fashion diva when it comes to truck
Trucks?
accessories.
No, she's
I am.
not.
But
Yes.
anyhow, so she says your truck smells. I'm like, I'm going to put some air freshener in it. So I put one of those in there, and I thought that's a good idea. And then I thought, you know what, we should put feature winner on some of them. Because everybody drives a truck to the races, at least most people. Right?
Yeah.
And who doesn't want their truck to smell good? Who gets in there with a wife after the races? They're all sweaty racing. You get sweaty racing. It's hot.
I mean, unless it's been like
Hey,
last week
win
here
a
in Iowa.
win a feature, and get one of these. And I thought, hey, that's a pretty cool idea. So
Now, how are
I
we
had
going to
some
distribute those?
I don't know. I'm going to give them to people I like.
So you'll have a whole box full.
I will have.
Nobody gets one. So
No, I said no.
So, folks, this is the only
I said
place you'll
people-
see them is right here on the podcast.
I said people I like.
No, I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it.
we need that back.
You guys heard that wrong. I said people I like.
Oh, not people who like you.
People like me. Justin Vaughn is not going to send me one of those. We know he doesn't like me.
Well, at least
But-
you're grade A,
I am grade A,
not B.
not B.
See,
I am the B
Were
team.
you in the wedding singer? Because that guy was like, he liked the grade A stuff.
But so anyhow,
did we start this
I think
podcast?
that-
yeah, we're
Yes,
live.
we
Yeah,
started.
this is.
I thought that was a good idea.
it?
Occasionally, I have them, and I'm going to send them to racers. We'll probably give them to all the staff, and when we go to races, see, we are the sanctioning body that actually goes to events.
That's right.
People ask
We're
what we
amongst the
do
people.
with all the money we make. Well, we tend to spend it, a lot of it,
Yeah.
driving all over the frickin' country, going to races. answering questions,
That's right.
Talking
Being
to
out with the
promoters?
people. That's what we
tech
do.
and race cars.
We are in the customer service business, and
Yeah,
we
we are.
serve our customers unlike any other sanctioning body there is.
Right.
Air fresheners.
So I thought, do I want to? Are we going to give those to all the racetracks? We'll see how popular those are
I think-
versus the feature winner decals.
stickers
We've
are
talked
pretty-
about this internally at
pretty
the
popular.
office.
You know,
They are
Well,
very
I mean,
popular.
no, whoa.
I think
Don't-
the heat decals are
I mean,
even
because
There is going to be a girlfriend or a wife or a
that wants us
mother
in her car.
that's
Her
going
car.
to get in the truck after they win the feature some night, whatever racetrack that
Who's
happens.
been
It's
in here?
104 degrees.
Who's been in this truck?
And she's going to say, "Did you get one of those air fresheners? Because we need one." Right?
Well,
and we won one. We just got to figure out how to give them to
Where'd
people.
this idea come from? Me and Brett were driving home from a race one night, actually, and we left Wisconsin. What track was it?
means it's
I think
stunk
we were
in
one-
the car, Ryan. If they had
No.
Oh, that was a meeting
He's
where
going to place I don't want to go.
no, are you kidding? Are you? I mean, Jim's gonna go down a
He's
down a
gonna go.
wormhole that we
were
don't
at
need to
one.
go?
We were at 141. I think that trip.
or was that the meeting that another sanctioning body tried to take one of the tracks and we run them out of town?
Oh yeah, we've been to a few of those. We got a pretty good batting average on that too.
Very good.
But anyhow, so we were up in Wisconsin, and I was having a bad. We were.
Did you eat a lot of cheese or something? And
I was having some.
That's what I thought.
I was having some indigestion.
Well, it was late at
I
night.
mean,
And I didn't have any Pepto, and I had cheese curds and some jalapeno sausage that I bought, or whatever the heck it was, beef jerky at the truck stop, and it did not agree with me. I mean, it wasn't. I wasn't. It was. I just had. I was burping.
That's an understatement to say it did
And
not
Jim-
agree with him.
Well, I think we drove all the way back to the office with the windows down.
I don't remember because I
mean,
passed out somewhere around the
This podcast can go nowhere but up.
I mean, I get to Wisconsin
Anyhow.
quite a bit, and I do love some cheese, but I don't know that I've ever had the flavor from Monday that they had when you guys were riding home together.
Now you know.
Oh,
Now you know.
wow.
Speaking of Wisconsin,
Yeah.
141.
Oh man,
I-
197
I
cars.
talked to Dan, and we
mean the duck from last episode.
We're
right?
working on some things with Dan. It was a disappointing opening.
Didn't quite reach 200.
Yeah.
I didn't get the 200. I think Dan's got some things him and Toby Scott are going to try to do to try to get that car count up.
Yeah, I mean, because if they don't, I mean, it's. I mean,
No.
if you can't have 200 cars for
Struggling.
an opener, it's a.
Nobody races IMCA anymore. If
No,
you read Facebook,
is that a thing?
it's not a thing.
Okay, I wasn't
nobody.
sure.
Well,
But,
that was.
maybe Dan, trying to give him some ideas. Maybe next week if he gets 100 modifieds, he'll pay a little bit extra to win.
Have one of those floating purses. Those work really good. Like if you pay like $5,000 to win, if you have 101 cars, and then nobody's going to get 101 cars because it just doesn't happen very often.
Some tracks are going to pay extra.
But you announce it
get,
anyway.
If you get a Boone car count, they'll pay extra if you get as many cars as Boone does. How many modifieds did Boone have this week, Jerry?
40 some?
No,
He had
I think it was like
170.
31.
He had
31.
176
We had
cars.
176 cars.
31's a good number, Jerry.
It is a good number.
That's
Corey Drips, car number.
Yeah.
Cordips.
Hey, we saw him on Sunday. He finally got to have a race.
Yeah.
There was finally racing in Vinton.
Yeah, I heard the weather wasn't good.
Nah, it's a little chilly.
It's chilly.
I don't know. There's a lane and a half off, though.
Your weather, Brett?
It kind of switched. It got really hot here really quick. It
Oh,
went from like
yeah.
winter
Summer.
to mid-July.
We went
in
from
2
wind
days.
chill to heat index, I think.
Winter,
Something
summer.
like that.
Although, but it did go from summer to
It's a
winter
good thing
on
we
Monday.
have air fresheners for trucks.
Well, Tammy said today that we had record lows 2 weeks ago, 22 degrees, and there's record highs scheduled for today, like mid-90s.
What is
So,
happening?
You know what?
We're
I just
unpredictable.
It's this global warming that they're
I just
talking
thought
about.
of something
Wait, no,
here.
it's climate change.
I just thought of
Could be.
something here.
It's
What
global
if,
climate
What if
change
we
warming.
said,
The next thing you know, Iowa is going to have an ocean up against it. Instead of the Mississippi, it's going to be like the Atlantic.
I just thought of kind of a phrase I just came up with in my head.
thought.
Iowa. If you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes. Because I've never heard anybody say that before.
It's
Neither
usually
have I.
about 5
You should trademark that.
I'm going to
You
trademark
should. You
it.
should get it on a T-shirt.
Kind of like Sport Mods.
Kind of. That's a good idea, too.
Oh, yeah.
154 racetracks running IMCA weekly events this year. Ryan
55 so far. Now
Well,
it's
155. It's been up since I got this report
We're gaining.
30 minutes ago. Yep, 155 weekly sanctioned racetracks this year. 85, 84, maybe more than that now. Special event racetracks.
Yeah, we're approaching 250.
Yeah,
So,
250.
and if I'm not wrong, there's only about 700 some odd dirt tracks in the country, I believe, the last numbers I saw. So we have, in your head, Ryan Clark.
About 35-40%.
That's not bad. Not bad.
It's not exactly what I would consider to be a monopoly, but it's pretty good.
It's not a monopoly. It's just domination. Total
It's pretty
domination.
good. 39 different states in Canada we're going to sanction this year. I got that too. Brian, I love this kind of stuff. Just makes me smile.
Oh, there's anything that my job requires is to make you smile.
Yearly sanctions. I love this kind of stuff. Do we want to go over this?
Statman.
Oh,
Statman dude.
I didn't bring that with me.
I
Brett
brought it.
it.
You went to the hassle or
If
the time
Ryan-
to
yeah,
make this.
If
one.
Ryan went to the hassle,
We're going to
better-
have
we better
100 and
It took me minutes to do
140 modified tracks running modified.
That's yeah,
140.
Yeah, weekly.
roughly.
Yeah. So mod lights. Take a guess. How many racetracks in the United States are going to run an IMCA sanctioned Stars mod light event this year?
So far that we know of.
far that we-
93.
Take a shot at it.
67.
Nope, you're both a little too high.
Oh,
You're
well, see,
ruining
I
it.
mean, sorry, I was shooting for the stars.
It's only year 2.
Get it? Stars.
For crying out loud, guys.
31.
More than that. We had more than that last year.
44.
More than that.
I feel
62.
Like I feel like I'm on the
Less.
Price is Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the yodeler.
You've overbid.
52 mod light sanctioned tracks this year. It's pretty good for year number 2.
How
It
many-
just,
how- yeah, how
and
many
people
were there
ask
3
us,
years ago?
And last year I think we had events in like 8, 9, 10 states. I don't know how many
Right.
Mod Light states we have. But
Yeah,
that's-
you don't
I
have
think
that.
about
Off to-
40.
yeah, that, but
40
people ask
states,
us,
50.
why are you sanctioning mod lights? Well, again, it was years in progress, and not something that just happened overnight. But when it happened for a reason. You know, everything happens for a reason. I think timing is very important. Timing is very important on some of this stuff. The
You know,
divisions.
it doesn't just happen, though. You know, we're not the type of sanctioning body that writes rules when, let's say, IMCA rules come out. And we're not the type of sanctioning
not
body
really a
who's
good
going to take,
business plan.
see, if I take 5 different rule books and copy this, this, and this, I can say they're my own rules. No, it doesn't work like that. And I think Brett knows better than anybody, obviously, the amount of time, effort, debate, and money that gets spent to come up with a new rule so everybody else in this industry can copy and say it's their own. But, you know, there's no alternatives to hard work, Brett.
No, there's not. I mean, there's a lot that's went into obviously to our rules in every division, mod lights included. You know, there's a lot of history where the mod lights are now at. We're just a small part of it, and I'm proud to be. I am proud to be associated with the mod light deal and that deal going down like that. Much like the sprint car stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's funny because just looking at some of these yearly sanctions, 138 modified tracks are going to run a sanctioned event this year. At least that's what this number is right in front of me. We'll go a little higher than that, I think, once the racing season really starts. We'll pick up a couple more. But people are saying, like right now, stock cars. Everybody's got to buy stock cars. Stock cars are, you know, everybody's racing stock cars. Stock car, stock car, stock car. Yeah, stock car racing is pretty damn good, pretty damn popular.
But still.
But it's still not modified racing. We have 90. We don't even have 100 sanctioned stock car tracks yet. We're at 98, but we have the same amount of Race Saver sprint car tracks as well as stock cars this year. And I don't know if people who race stock cars really know that, or guys who are racing Race Saver sprint cars really know the history or even the numbers of some of the other divisions. But 98 racetracks are going to run stock cars, and 98 racetracks are going to run Race Saver sprint cars this year. Those are big numbers, not quite triple, but that's bigger than the weekly car count at Webster City. Oh, did I say that? Can we edit that out? No, don't edit that out. Leave that in there. 98's a good car count there.
Very good.
It's not boom. But anyhow, so these stats are really telling. I mean, again, and when you look at Jim kind of touched on rules, you know, I mean, a lot. Are you going to talk today, Jerry?
I'm listening to numbers.
A lot goes into what has made IMCA, our divisions, and our association in general what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not the person behind all these rules, and I don't ever claim to be. We've had lots of very, very passionate people that have been working for IMCA, racing IMCA, doing business with IMCA.
Correct.
that have helped us write every one of our rules in our rule book. It's not something that one person has come up with,
And-
and any of our, well, I mean, some of our divisions are pretty, you look at French Grimes, he's
Smartest guy in the room.
he's a pretty good example of somebody that was for many years a one-man show, but he had good staff around him, good
Jim
people helping him,
Haynes
and Rod and those guys. We talked about this before.
Yep.
But I mean, it's just any division to get where we're at with these numbers. I mean, 52 modified, 52 mod light racetracks, almost 70 sport compact racetracks, over 100 sport mod tracks.
It's not luck,
No.
And, I had a
They're big
conversation
numbers.
with John Webb yesterday, and he was saying, he had a great car count, and he's just lucky. And I said, bullshit, John. It's not luck. Okay, you've worked hard, you run a good show, and you switch sanctions. None of that is luck. Those are all conscious decisions that you made that
Everything happens for a reason.
improved your track and get you the car counts. But you know what? He's got a passion. He works hard, just like all of our promoters. It's, we talk about the different type of promoters we have around the country with all of our tracks. And, you got the guys who own the tracks themselves, or you got situations like, I was in Denison Friday night at Crawford County Speedway, where they have a race board, all volunteers. And these people during the race season, I mean, it's a 6-7 day a week job. They're watering the track. They're selling advertisement. They're having meetings to try to discuss what they can do to make it better. They don't get a penny. They do it for the love of the sport, and it's kind of neat to see stuff like that.
Absolutely. I second that.
Perfect.
And the way the weather's been, you're not always guaranteed a paycheck, so you have to appreciate those nights that you do
So
get
I
a raise.
can drive to Spencer on Monday.
It didn't rain.
I know, that's why I drove
That's
to
why he
Spencer.
drove
It
to
didn't
Spencer.
rain.
Which had another good opening night. How many cars were at Spencer for opening night?
Right
Like
about
140?
130.
130?
31-ish, I
Yeah,
think.
right at 130.
Yeah.
I mean, Trent's doing a fantastic job up there. Spencer's a place where the racers are voting with their trailers. We've said this internally a lot. Racers vote with their haulers. They really do. People who don't think that we know that don't know us very well. You look at last Saturday night, you had Eagle with 160 plus cars.
Yep.
You had Boone with 170 plus cars.
141.
You had 141 with 190 plus cars.
KSP was around 140.
Independence,
Yep.
almost 140 cars
What
in
did we
Independence.
talk about? We
Yeah.
talked about this
Opening
on
night.
Sunday.
Looking in the quadrant, the southeast quadrant of Iowa, if you were to split it up into 4 quadrants between Boone, if you put Boone over there, Independence, Maquoketa, and Donaldson, there were almost 500 race cars at those 4 tracks.
No. 500 IMCA.
Correct.
Is that a
race
thing
cars.
still?
Right.
IMCA?
Yeah.
And then if you go to,
I don't hear much about it.
then if you go to Wisconsin, within 2 racetracks with an hour and
Over
a half,
300.
you had almost
Over
300
300
cars.
with Shawno. I mean,
Yep.
And then wait till we get out of Gamey Open on Friday and the Berg on
Sunday.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely crazy.
The Wisconsin Green Bay area, just to mention, has been a big IMCA area for as long as I can remember. Lots and lots of very, very accomplished IMCA racers up
Absolutely.
there, winning specials all over the country,
Big Race Benji.
all of the divisions. All the divisions. I mean, every division is, Wisconsin's stacked full of excellent racers. I wish they'd come down here a little bit more, but at times, I mean, it
Life
happens.
gets in the way
And
of stuff.
you look at 141 special. I wish more racers from outside of Wisconsin would go up there. I mean, we see them, but they've got some good things going on at 141. That's a cool
it's
little
a-
It's a
racetrack.
cool facility.
It's a fun place
It
to
is.
go. They make it fun when you're there. so
I mean, if you can go to the,
And the racing-
bar and never
Yeah,
leave
exactly.
the
Watch
racetrack.
it.
I've never been in that
Never
bar.
miss a lap.
You've never
Yes.
been in a
I've
left
never
turn?
been in
in
the
that
left
bar.
turn lounge.
no,
Been upside down and
I've
under
never
a
been in
table
there.
before.
I take that back. I think I walked in there once during the races just to see what it looked like inside. But generally
You
speaking,
need to ride the bus at
When-
141.
The short bus.
Yes, because at one, so if
That's the one
people don't
Jerry's
know,
driving.
At 1:41 a.m., they have the bus ride. Scott Ratajczyk drives the bus. It goes around the track forward. It goes around the track in reverse. And a lot of times it'll stop and you can get your picture in Victory Lane. And then some people will jump into the pond. And some people will then forget their clothes. And then It's
Enough said.
I'm in
It's
bed
a
at
good time up
141.
there.
I'll take your word for it.
I've seen plenty of 141.
They have a lot of fun up there. I
Oh,
think it's just the way everybody's
and
programmed
that's,
up there.
You know, once again, we talk about 141's car count. It's because they have a lot of fun up there.
Oh yeah.
I love going up there. I wish I could go up. I mean,
If you're winning races up there, you can win races in any part of the country, and it's been proven time and time again. That whole Green Bay area.
You know, once again, Ryan does a great job teching up there. He's teched that track for years and
Yeah.
years and years,
Yeah.
and does an outstanding job.
maybe he could be one of our inspectors on the Facebook.
We already have one up there.
I don't
We're
think
not
he-
going
I
that
don't-
way. We're not going that direction.
I don't think he wastes his time with that.
Yeah.
Speaking of inspectors, just wanted to mention Dave Brin. We haven't had him on the podcast yet.
Nope.
I would really like to get Dave on the podcast, but we'll probably have to have a 2-hour episode. Just going to warn everybody if Dave's on the podcast.
Oh,
As he says, I could talk forever. Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Talk all day.
You know what I mean?
You do. But anyhow, just want to make
Working
sure
like
that
a
the
dog.
racers know if you have questions about rules, Dave's the guy. If you're racing Mod Lights, call Jimmy May. If you're racing Race Saver, call Roger
Roger.
Hayden. Call Roger. But if you've got a sport compact or a modified or a sport mod, and you got some rule questions, give Dave a call. Reach out to him. That is what he does. He doesn't work out of the office full time. He's not here. I'd like to get him on the podcast. I think we're going to do that when he makes a trip up here. But he lives about 9 hours from here.
Yeah, it's just a 9 or 10 hour drive to
It's a long
Colby.
ways to drive just for the podcast. So when he's in town, we're gonna have a podcast with or without you, Jerry.
I don't care.
So and we'll talk a little bit about rules because I
So
think it's
that
good
will
for
be
the
one of
racers
our
to
most
get.
popular broadcasts,
Yeah.
podcasts of the year.
I think it's good for racers to get a little perspective on Dave's outlook on stuff, on how Dave handles situations. You know, I was talking earlier too for the podcast when we weren't on air. Penalty box. You know, it's interesting. You know, we at times we used to print the penalty box in the
A lot of
newsletter.
people have asked about
A lot of people ask about it.
enjoyed
People
reading
kind of
it.
want to know it, but it's a little like airing our dirty laundry, you know. So to a certain extent, we don't want to run people through the mud. People who get caught not following the rules for whatever reason it may be.
Sometimes good people cheat.
Sometimes good people see, and sometimes people have things that they don't realize aren't to the rules, you know. And you know, we hate to air that necessarily. If you look at just last weekend, we had
Box of bad ideas.
we had a box of bad. That
box of bad ideas. I like that. That's good.
Hey, so
I've got one. Of those.
That could be a new podcast.
I've got one of those out in the truck right now.
Carson, write that down. Box of bad
bad
ideas.
ideas.
We're not going to have a penalty box, but we'll have the box of bad ideas.
We had one in Vegas.
Speaking
at
of the
one time.
box, yeah, we've had a correct.
You have one in
Speaking
Arkansas
of-
one time
Didn't we
too?
used to,
A
didn't
box
we used
of
to
bad
sanction a
ideas.
race in Las Vegas?
We used to.
Okay.
But speaking of boxes of bad ideas, we had a sport compact with a legal camshaft. We
was
had a
colossal.
couple carburetor
It was just
DQs.
colossal.
A couple of carburetor DQs last weekend. So boosters in 2 barrels, 4412 issues pop up. You know, it in some aspects, this stuff is things that the racers should know. So you don't want to run people through the mud for getting
Correct.
caught with something that's wrong. Because we've had one guy, I'm not going to even say where at, but he's won some races and he got DQ'd. You know, so people automatically go back and say, well, you've won all those races being a cheater. You can't make that assumption as a sanction.
Correct.
Is it possible? Yeah, but he could have just bought that carburetor too. You know, at the same. So you look at those situations. Who do we to judge at times? And we try not to. We just here's the rules. Is it right? Is it wrong? Are you in? Are you out? You know, and some people are out.
I
People are
kind of
in
had
bad
a
box of
situation
bad
like
ideas. But
that. Like that Friday, as a matter of fact. Am I a bad guy because I had a conversation with a county sheriff on the way to Denison?
oh no, I don't want to know
I don't know
this.
if we want to hear the story.
Did you get another ticket?
if it's taken that much thought, I'm thinking the
How
answer
does
is
that
yeah.
happen? How do you get tickets? You want my
Well, as many miles as he puts on, I would think he would get ticketed more often than the rest of us.
Like a true racer, it wasn't my fault.
You weren't speeding?
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was downhill.
What we do is a lot like law enforcement. It really is. You know, we're kind of like we write the rules, but we're the judge,
Deputy
the
Dave.
jury, everything. The police. You know, I'll give you a real quick. I'm telling too many stories. I can tell already.
I can talk all day.
I've never heard Jerry
talk all
not
day.
talk this much.
I'm
ever.
just.
We're on a roll.
These two are just going.
I'm
I'm like,
using the 2 ears, 1
oh
mouth.
my goodness.
Welcome to our podcast, guys. I think it's the rock star that's making me kind of wired. Anyhow, so I'll give you. I'm going to give you.
I
He
do.
is wound up.
I do
Can I
have a
give you one
DQ
story?
note to make once you're done.
Okay,
with
no,
your
go ahead
story.
now.
No, go ahead. You've got to get this story. Your
I
rock
got pulled
star is
over.
making.
The true story. It is. It's wiring me up. So I got pulled over. Last time I got pulled over driving.
Miss Daisy.
Yes. Miss Daisy was
Going
with
to
me.
the
The
Piggly
boss
Wiggly.
was with me and my daughter. We were coming home from Texas. Came out of Waco. Wasn't paying attention. I was going up 35W, and everybody in Texas knows where this is at. I was kind of like right over, kind of like
Were you by
right
the Kolaches?
past that.
Oh,
I was past
okay, I know where
west.
you're at,
I was past west.
Yeah.
I was Hillsboro. it
Okay, I
splits.
know where you're at.
I was just past
Rundown
Hillsboro
Outlet Mall.
on 35W. Get pulled over, right? I'm like, oh, shit. So I'm sitting in the car, and the cop comes up, and you got your license, yeah, blah, 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 right? Goes back to the car. And I'm sitting there, and we're sitting there for a while.
You're thinking of running, weren't you?
And my wife is like, what's taking him so long? You're getting a ticket. Ha, you're getting a ticket. I'm like, oh, man. And I don't argue tickets because, again, it's like,
What good does it do?
right. What good does it do? They're doing their jobs. I was speeding. He was right? So I get pulled over, sitting there. So out gets 2 cops,
Oh,
Oh
boy.
boy.
and they come up to the passenger side. And my wife she's saying, why are there 2 police officers?
Did one of
And
them
I'm
start
like,
stripping coal?
she's like, do you have the gun in the car? And I'm like, no, I don't think I had it with me at that time, right? But anyhow, so they come up, roll the window down on her side of the car, and the female police officer who comes up the second time with the male officer says, are you really the king of IMCA? And I'm like, excuse me?
Was this just recently?
This is about a year ago. I'm like, excuse me? She goes, you're Brett Root, right? I'm like, yeah. She goes, my brother races IMCA. My uncle races IMCA.
And you disqualified him.
my nephew. There was like 4 of them that she named that raced IMCA in and around that area. And I was like, oh my God, what are the odds of this? But had a great conversation. Very nice police officer.
They all
Even
are.
nicer,
How much was your
gave
ticket?
me my driver's license back and didn't even write me a warning ticket. Said, "Hey, just slow down." I said, "Thank you very much." And I thought to my wife, we rolled the window up. My wife's like, "You've got to be shitting me. What are the odds? If me getting pulled over, I get a ticket."
If I
My
was
wife
a,
goes
if I
at a
was a
speed and
betting
gets
man,
tickets.
knowing you and what people think of you, it would have gone completely opposite.
I have those moments where when I get pulled over, I'm thinking, "Oh God, I hope this police officer doesn't race."
Or watch the
Because
podcast.
there are some of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
there are a few.
But that's why I carry these air fresheners now, in case I get pulled over by a
bribery?
police officer. I'll be like, "Hey, you want an air
Be like,
freshener?
hey.
Want to make your police car smell good?"
You know, you're talking most of your DQs earlier tech related. Do you know what the most common DQ we've had so far this year?
Rough driving.
Unsportsmanship
We've had
like
like
conduct.
60 some DQs at almost 30 racetracks, and I think we've had 8 or 9 of those rough driving or unsportsmanlike conduct in the stock car division.
It's
That
because they're
leads
competitive.
the way. That leads the way.
Well, it's because they got bumpers and fenders.
They got fenders.
Bumpers,
They're
fenders.
Well, I like to
not
look at that
afraid to
stuff,
use them.
yeah.
And they're pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Even if you're off the pace a little bit in a stock car, you can still keep up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But a mod guy that's off the pace, he ain't going to keep up.
I like to watch those numbers develop throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, they're very
neat stuff.
interesting, and we should talk about them more. Turn this more into, again, our podcast into more like a
Box of bad decisions.
box of bad decisions or just information. Things that I think people really find interesting. The people that care about IMCA, and there's people watching this podcast.
That don't care. And thank you guys for watching.
There's people that care. A lot of the people that I talk to, they enjoy the podcast, and that makes us feel good that, hey, people are watching and we're not wasting our time. We're spending all of our sanctioning money on building podcast rooms
and our
buying
spec part
microphones
money because
and buying air fresheners. This costs
Moonshine.
And apparently
almost
Rockstar.
this costs almost as much to buy as a wheel decal.
Casey's
Crazy.
Pizza.
But anyhow, so back to the box of bad ideas. I want to make one mention, and we even went over any agenda. We had a guy in California. I talked to Dave. Dave was out for the California Speed Weeks.
Central
Yeah.
California Clash.
Had a stock car guy. Car was wrong. Came through tech. Dave's rode in some deficiencies. Had a lot to fix. Had the shock through the spring in the middle. The rules that we had changed late last year
So we had a coil.
into this year. He had the coil spacer in the front with the shock through it, all that stuff that we changed the rules on, pissed some people off, but we think it was a necessary rule based on what we know. And so we made that decision. He had all that stuff. So Dave said, you can't race it like this. You're going to have to fix it before you come back. So the guy went home.
Didn't bitch.
The guy went home, fixed his race car. Guy's name is Larry Thompson. Fixed his race car. And just that alone has a great deal of value from us as a sanction. Because Dave's doing his job, and a racer is getting the, I don't know if you would call it a punishment. He's getting...
No, he's making sure the playing field's equal, and
he's experiencing what sanctions are supposed to do. And Dave is really good at what he
Correct.
does. Dave's enforcing our rules. That's what a sanctioning body does, right? We don't just not go to racetracks and stay at the lake house. We actually go to races, enforce rules, spend money enforcing rules, because that's what the racers need, right? So a guy like Larry Thompson gets caught. He doesn't see Dave. He's probably never seen Dave before, but anyhow, so Larry fixes his car. A lot of work to do on his race car. Fixes it. Comes back the next night, and obviously tells Dave, hey, I fixed my car. Dave's like, cool. Goes out and wins
the feature.
The stock
Oh,
car
the feature?
feature. Wins the stock car feature.
But there's more to the story.
There's much more to the story. This is where it gets cool. So it's a memorial race for a very good friend of his, I believe. Chris Mancebo, I believe is how you pronounce the gentleman's name. They had a memorial race. And Larry Thompson wins it. Very emotional victory lane.
With a rap dedicated
to his friend.
Yep.
So you just look at those situations.
If there
like
ever
that.
was a situation where you might think someone would complain, I'm here for this race, I'm here for my friend, why do you
Right.
have to get
Kept
on me
his
like
emotions in check.
Yep.
And came back and did his job.
Again, like I said earlier, everything happens for a reason.
right.
So you have a situation like that where you got I would consider to be Larry Thompson a class act, and not only from what he's doing for his buddy, but how he handled the situation, fixed his race car, came out and won.
And part of the
It
problem
doesn't.
is
You can't write those types
there
of scripts
needs
here.
to be
you know what
more
I mean?
stories like that. Sometimes
They're everywhere.
I go to
That's
Facebook.
why we're doing this
You
podcast.
just see the negatives.
That's only on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. We don't talk negatives on this podcast.
No, we don't. We don't make fun of nobody.
No,
That's the
that would
problem
be
with-
unprofessional on
That's
our
the problem
part.
with social media is people have this false sense of thinking that everybody wants to hear their opinion, and it's so easy to
And people
complain.
give a shit and they don't.
Right.
Correct.
Opinions are like what?
Assholes.
Like
Jerry.
Jerry's.
Hey, we
Everybody's got a Jerry.
Everybody's got a Jerry.
The three of us are just lucky we all have two of them.
Oh, shoot. Anyhow, but Larry Thompson, I want to congratulate Larry Thompson
Absolutely.
on the West Coast for his stock car win when it counted the most, and for being a class act, fixing his race car. And hopefully the fixes he made not only him faster for that race, but hopefully he goes out and wins
Let's
a bunch more.
just
That's
go out
pretty
on
cool.
a limb right now and call Larry our racer of the month.
Racer of the month. Well, that's no joke.
I'm just gonna call him a good old fashioned good dude.
Yeah.
I'm a racer
sure.
of the month.
Yep.
Speaking of races, again, I'm going off my agenda. You guys, I don't know if I'm
Oh,
just
we
talking
didn't even
too
know
much.
you
You
had
don't
a
provide
full
us with
agenda.
agendas.
The rock star talking
Jerry and I
today.
just show up and you guys
That's
lead
going
the
to give me
way.
a heart attack. Anyway, Kentucky Derby. Anybody watch the Kentucky Derby?
I watched the highlight.
I watched the highlight.
I missed it, but
I missed it.
I went back and watched it.
The
'Cause
winner was a 80-1, and he was a provisional.
I should have. I know. There's a great
He was
story
a
behind this.
provisional.
He got in
was
30
What else?
seconds
But
before the
What
end
else
of
do
the-
you
Yes.
know? What else do you know about Rich Strike? Was the name of the horse. What else do you know? There's some other very
He
interesting
bit.
things.
He bit one of
Bit a
you know,
trainer
the
or
guys that
a
ride him. He bit this guy's leg.
Really?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
bit
I didn't
some
know that.
people.
I
This
didn't
was
hear
when
that
it was
part.
over, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was when it was
Anyhow.
over. He was a very.
He was celebrating.
Yeah,
it.
80 to 1
yeah.
odds. So if you put $100 on Rich Strike, what would that have paid? Does anybody do
What was
that?
it, 80-1?
80-1.
Whew. That's better than a roulette wheel. Mm-hmm. Holy shit. But anyhow, so Rich Strike wins the Kentucky Derby. Second highest odds in the history of the 146-year history of the Kentucky Derby, that horse won. So, I mean, what are the odds of that happening? I wish I had
80-1.
I wish if I was a gambler, I'd have had $1,000 on that horse. Can you imagine what that would have paid? I can't do that math because I'm not that smart. Is it 80,000?
How much is it, Ryan?
Is 80 times 1,000, 80,000?
Hey, pardon me? I wasn't listening.
80 times 1,000.
80 times 1,000 is 80,000.
Anyhow.
80,000.
So, like you had said, Rich Strike gets in as an alternate Is that like an
Provisional.
alternative?
He was
It
a
was a provisional.
It's like
Provisional.
when
I
John.
mean, it's
like when John Daly won
Like
the
a last-
PGA
Yeah,
Championship.
he was
in
he was the
91.
first horse in. He was like
Like
the
a
first
last-
runner up in the beauty
And
pageant.
it was
Like a
30
last-minute
seconds before
scratch.
He
before it
finished one
closed.
spot out of the transfer position.
exactly.
Like a last minute scratch, he gets in. The horse gets in. Whatever, however you want to say that, right? 2-year-old horse, I think they said it was. Wins the race, 80-1. The thing I found interesting about the whole story, because I read it and watched the race, was how that horse actually entered. Do you know who owns the horse or how they got
I
the
saw
horse?
the name of the owner, but I didn't see a story.
The guy who owns Rich Strike bought that horse.
Didn't buy him.
He claimed him.
Oh, he was a claimer.
Similar
It
to
says
a
in the
motor.
story, the owner claimed the horse for $30,000
Yeah.
at a low-level horse race.
Yeah, because I trust me, I know this because I've got a friend that she raises
Yes.
race horses down at the farm,
That's where we're going with
and
this.
she tells me,
It's a fantastic
yeah,
story.
she goes, I'm just gonna. One day we're sitting there, and she goes, yeah, so I'm just putting them in the claim race.
Yeah.
I go, what?
So how does
She
one
goes,
go about claiming a horse?
just
what
the
are
same way
rules?
as you would go
It's
about
the
Finish in the
claiming
top
a-
four.
Exactly.
Does
You
he
know what
finish in the top?
IMCA's
Right.
claim rules were based off of,
Yeah.
right?
Keith didn't
Horse
invent it.
racing.
So is
Horse
it top
racing.
4 could
it's
be
not
claimed?
like
or-
I
it's not
think
like
it's the winner.
IMCA
Just the winner.
invented the claim. IMCA used the claim. IMCA uses the claim.
horse racing invented racing because
I
they
think
had
the claim
tracks that
primarily came out
cars-
of horse
claim.
racing.
But the interesting
And
But
what's
no,
it
I mean
do?
it's amazing that claim deal on the horse. I mean because
And what happens when
That
you
ri-
enter
because
a really expensive horse in a low-level claim race? What
you
happens?
could lose it.
Really? Somebody might claim it.
But you know what? I
For-
heard, and
for
I
30
remember,
grand.
I remember
30
when,
grand.
So is our claim going up to 30 grand?
when Rich Strike,
and if that horse lays down in the next race,
That's a whole nother thing.
that's just part of the claim.
but the funny thing about that claim,
Could just be an expensive pony for his daughter.
it was a grudge claim.
It was a grudge claim.
was a
That was a
claim.
grudge claim.
Could have stopped. So just think. Yeah, just look again. Everything happens for a reason. Look at how the chain of events.
I didn't
ends
know
up,
he was a
know he was
claimer
a claim
horse.
horse.
ends up with a claim horse winning the Kentucky Derby. Isn't that crazy?
Wild.
And I'm guessing that it couldn't get claimed at the Kentucky Derby
No.
for 30 grand.
No, you couldn't.
And I'm
Kentucky
guessing
Derby's not a claim race.
It'll be-
And
at
I'm
the
guessing
Preakness.
that horse will never be in a
No.
low level claim race again.
Well, the reason why
You know?
it couldn't get claimed the Kentucky Derby, what they do, what the Churchill Downs does,
Yeah.
they take the top 4 horses out of that race.
Then they take them to auction, and
They
they
take
take
them
then
to
they take
auction.
that money and then put it back through the field.
put it back through the purse.
They draw numbers, and you get that horse now.
Yep. So that's the top 4 horses are
So we
automatically
took the
claimed.
Super Nationals deal from Kentucky Derby.
Kind of.
Yeah. Why not?
Isn't it crazy? You know who races horses now? A lot.
Who?
Henry Witt, 2000 IMCA Modified National
I
Champion.
wonder why you were asking about him earlier.
And you know what?
Yeah.
You know how many feature
far.
wins Henry Wood has?
How many? Hundreds.
I don't know.
It's hundreds.
Somebody better go get.
It's quite a few. It's over 100. He's on our.
I would
100
say
winners.
He's had
231.
There you go.
I'm just going to pick a
231.
number off the top of my head.
Do you think he ever got claimed?
231. Never.
He didn't get claimed very much.
Oh, would you claim him? He's a big guy.
Henry was the ambassador of modified racing when he was racing down there. He just has that presence about him. My wife's from Waco. We've talked about this before. When I go to Waco, I usually stop at Affiliate Auto Class right there on the circle, and people in Waco and anybody in Texas that knows that area, you know, I stop and say hi to Henry. You walk in his shop, his glass. He does windshields, auto glass repair.
Yeah.
You walk into his auto glass shop. He's usually sitting there. He's usually got horse racing on his computer screen. He manages. I don't know how many horses he's got. Over 24, I think. It's a bunch.
Yep.
He's driving around the country now racing horses. It's kind of crazy, but you know, you walk in his. I love going in his shop. He's got all his plaques, his national champion stuff. It's all on display there. It always makes me feel good stopping and saying hi to him. Henry Witt's also how I met my wife. So
has he won a lot of races with his horses then?
yeah,
I don't think he's won 231 races.
231.
Well, if he has
But
over a
he
couple
does a
dozen
lot of horse
horses,
racing.
there's an opportunity that he could.
a lot of horse racing. Yeah, kind of cool. I thought that whole story
That
with
is
Rich
cool.
Strike winning the Kentucky Derby as a claimer.
Didn't know he was a claim.
I didn't know he was a claimer
I knew he
either.
was a
We had
long
a claim
shot.
last weekend too.
What?
We did.
We did. Did
Like
you know
an
this?
engine claim?
Yeah,
Yes.
engine claim.
Like
Just like Rich
money
Strike.
and then
We had one.
where?
Do you want to see the track? We had a
Nah, we had a claim.
claim. We had a claim. We had a claim. We don't want again, if for some reason there's a stigma about that at times and we don't
And
want
it wasn't in Wisconsin.
our point is not to shine a negative light on the claim. Our point is
The claim has
to
a place.
tell people this is how the
You
stuff
can
is
still do it.
This is
You
how
can
we
do
got
it.
there.
Why?
That's how we got to this point. It is a rule that is being used in other sports very effectively.
Yep.
For this, under the same pretenses, under the same reasoning as to why it's in place, and it's effective that way.
You think the horse
Don't put a Kentucky Derby horse race
in the
the horse
30,000?
in a low level claim race because he'll get claimed.
That's right. Do you think the guy who had that horse claim bitched?
I don't know.
No, because a lot
I
of
think
times,
it's a great story.
I mean, knowing the horse racing like I do a little bit, they'll put a horse that they know or they think is not going to be a good horse in a claim race to get it claimed. They're just like, you know what, we're going to cut our losses, take the claim, we're done.
I
beats
saw
the
Kevin
auction.
Larkins do that one night with a motor. He did. He polished it all up and told everybody it was new.
I got my own claim story. I'm not going to tell it. But anyhow, I tell too many
Wait,
stories.
this is our segment of Brett's racing experiences.
No.
Let's hear it,
Been
Brett.
there, done that. Nope, not going that. We're not talking about that this episode.
Save it for the next.
Yeah, maybe. Or one down the line when I have less rock star in me.
So are we bringing the big funny hats to Super Nationals in since we took the claim?
Yeah.
Like they were at the Kentucky Derby?
We could.
We could.
Throwback Thursday. I think we're going to do Throwback
Oh yeah, we're
Thursday
doing a throwback
this year.
Thursday this year.
At Super National. 40th anniversary this year. We still haven't got the logo up. It's up. It's up on our website.
And it's a good looking logo.
30
I did. I saw it in the office today.
I haven't
saw
even seen
Dan.
it yet.
Once again,
I saw
We're
it.
going to
Nate-
start pumping
Nate,
that
it
stuff
is
out.
one of the better looking logos
Little
I've ever
time.
seen, Nate.
And I think that
we
stuff
gotta
is
get
going to
weekly
start.
racing going. We got to get everybody's tracks open. We got to get everybody's the 141s and the Eagles and the all over the country. The 154 weekly racetracks that we're doing business at in 39 states. We need to get them open. Then we'll worry about Super Nationals.
And odds are an IMCA official will visit, I would say, pretty much each one of those tracks. With
We try to.
With our regional people, with our tech people, with our office staff, and something a lot of sanctioning bodies don't do. I don't know
I'm
if
telling
you
you,
knew that.
at 540, 549, whatever the heck it is, a gallon for diesel this year. I mean, it's going to be an interesting racing season, and I personally tend to think that that's going to keep racers a little closer to home because it just makes more sense. But some racers are just not weekly racers. Some still are jumping around in specials. They don't race every week. They race every other or
Race when
once
they
a
want
month.
it. Yep.
Exactly.
Well, with
The
diesel,
patterns are never the same.
diesel's
you
so
know what I mean?
high, that's why I like to take our plane, Spec Part 1, we'd like to
It's
call
a good
that
thing it
plane.
runs on avgas.
Yeah.
I think that's like $1.49 a gallon right now.
But since we spec a fuel, we get it for free.
runs on something.
I don't know what they're running on today, but
Runs on Red Bull.
it's Rockstar.
It's Rockstar. Get it
How-
right.
how are you
can't
gonna
even your
get paid?
sponsors. You know what? Hey, why
There
don't
it
you
goes.
get out of here and somebody go get Carson or
I'm
something?
gonna.
One
I'm
of
gonna
them's
go. I'm
not
gonna
good
check
Because
out.
we got to talk to him about why A, he
One of
doesn't
Carson-
watch the podcast, and B, how he's getting
He's
$40,000.
He's taking
And-
notes now.
And he'll never screw up
I think we woke
sponsorships.
him up.
Yeah.
He'll never screw up a sponsor. He'll never call.
I'm
I
gonna.
still can't believe he didn't know
I'm
when
gonna
we
skip out.
referenced the $40,000 comment in the email.
Well, don't try to deter him from coming in here because he looks
No, he's-
pretty frightened right now, pretty spooked.
I am gonna skip out for the last. What do we have? About 20 minutes left, Nate. I'm gonna skip out for the last 20 minutes and let Carson come in. Jim and Carson can have fun.
You can go come down from your
Yeah, you can
Rockstar
come
high.
down from your.
I got a plane to catch. Gotta.
When he crashes this afternoon,
Jim has vacated the Hawaii, the Maui.
Are you leaving?
IMCA office. So
Are you going to-
I'm
are you
gonna.
going
I got a private plane. I'm catching. I'm gonna head to Maui.
to your Maui house. I
The
heard
Maui
you just
house.
got done redoing the Maui house.
I did. We'll save that for another podcast as well.
So now we're. Let me think. What else are we gonna do?
I'm completely lost. I don't know how you are.
I
Jared.
still don't know how you dropped your glasses in the cat
Oh,
litter box
stop.
and broke them.
I do like Red Bull as much, if not more, than Rockstar. Not like either one of them sponsor IMCA.
Look at
but
him.
you
Just,
can-
he's
you
just
can-
trembling over
You
here.
are. You got the shakes.
Turn the can around.
This stuff will give a 50-year-old guy a heart attack,
We want
which
the
would make
cameras.
some people's day right now.
Can you imagine if you mixed this with that? What we would have from
used
Hey,
do
look
that.
who's here.
I used to do that in college. I'd mix. I think a lot of people drink Red Bull and vodka. I quit doing that because I couldn't go to sleep. Go home from the bar
You're
and
drunk
lay there
and
in
you're too wound up.
Yeah.
All right.
Carson's arrived. Oh, he has a Monster. Good Lord.
my
another energy drink.
I feel bad. I didn't bring a energy drink.
I don't
here
think
with
you
me.
need You don't drink
think you
energy
need one
drinks, do
either.
you?
I mean, I could after the week I've had, I could use the pip. Maybe I'll just get some coffee on the way home.
Carson.
How's it going?
Welcome back to
Carson,
the
welcome
Playhouse.
to the podcast that you don't
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Or you,
No,
you
listen.
scan.
Let's
What was
Talk
your-
about that.
Yeah.
Listen. Okay, so after you made that comment, I went through and watched every single podcast.
But we shouldn't have to make those comments.
Yeah,
you
we
should
shouldn't have
automatically
to. See,
watch.
that's
You
the
should
problem.
be watching them.
You made us force your hand to watch the podcast.
You never slept better either after watching those, did you?
No. It could have been the
I mean, did your IQ level
vodka
go?
that I had to have to watch it.
Carson.
Jim.
What
what
is new and exciting in the world of sponsorship for IMCA?
Integration stuffers.
Yeah. Not a lot right now.
Well,
We're working hard.
I don't
We're trying to
believe
figure
that.
it out.
I think we need to talk to you about some of the new sponsorships that we have come up with.
Friesen
There
Performance.
you go.
Friesen
IMCA
Performance, yes.
Modifieds.
And Sport Mods.
and Northern Sport Mods.
That's right.
Yes. Yep. They came on board, as you guys know, this year with a new program. Al,
Bigger.
yes. And Al said, hey, how can I give money directly back to the racers? And I said, hey, how about this? And that's how it came about. So luckily we have sponsors like that give money right back to racers, which, I
So
mean,
explain it.
explain
Because
it.
I don't know the whole deal
Yeah.
yet.
Let's hear the program.
So give us
Hear the
pro-
program.
Let's read the program.
Well, the program is title sponsorship of the modifieds, and which is new for IMCA.
Yep,
It hasn't
first time ever.
been. It's been.
It's been a
been a
while.
while.
Yeah, it's been
since
the
there was a-
'90s.
Is it a well, that wasn't a real sponsorship. I sold that one. It wasn't real sponsorship.
For the
So that was
modifieds?
gym math.
The promotion.
Oh my goodness, that was mid-90s.
Yeah. But is
We
it
had the-
is it a coincidence? Carson comes on board. We get our first title sponsorship. Coincidence or not?
That's a good thing.
It goes back to the John Webb deal. Is he a lucky promoter? No, he's a good promoter. Is it lucky we got?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky.
Come on, Carson.
I like to think I'm lucky.
Well, first of all,
I don't get pulled over.
If we're gonna say he's lucky, it ran out when he had to sit next to Jim. So the money
Yes.
goes
You don't
back
get
to
pulled
the,
over?
You-
Well,
yeah.
we understand why Jim gets pulled over. He's
Right.
leaving Nebraska when he does that.
Right.
I was in Iowa.
You were in Iowa at the
I was
time.
in Iowa when I got pulled over.
So the money, because everybody's
Yes.
always like, "Oh, you do is take this money in and then you don't give it back."
Yeah.
Yep.
So talk about the money coming and where it goes.
So all the money that comes in from Friesen Performance goes right back to a portion goes to the Modified Point Fund and a portion goes to the Northern Sport Mod Point Fund.
So you're talking cash. It's not in the
Cash.
form
Yep.
of certificates or promises.
money.
or
It's
Not
anything
one of
like
those
that.
Right.
hokey sponsorships. If you run 3 XYZ deals,
Right.
we'll give you half price off the 4th and 5th one.
And a free hot dog.
And a free hot dog.
Right. So Friesen, he said, I want all this money. Every single penny that comes in off that program goes right back to those drivers in both divisions. So, I mean, yeah, the office doesn't get anything like, out of that program besides helping our racers. And that's what we're here to do. Right.
Absolutely.
So
No
no hassles, no gimmicks.
I think I'm going to get on a soapbox here for a second.
Uh-oh.
I didn't think you have ever gotten off of it.
This is Jim without an energy drink in him.
Oh, I know.
The segment that we need to do, our dumbass Facebook post of the week. But once again, you read stupid shit on Facebook about IMCA collecting all the money, not paying out. Ryan, off the top of your head, since you've been around a while, point funds that we paid out last year at the banquet was
You mean percentage or
No,
what do you-
no.
total amount?
total dollars.
They're over $600,000.
Over
$700,000.
$600,000.
It depends. Obviously, it
That-
depends on the number of races.
That is a colossal amount of money to pay out.
Yeah, I don't think since I've been here full time in the 8 years, we haven't paid out less than $600,000, and that's based specifically on the sanction fees paid for the races that are held.
Correct.
So I mean,
let's
not-
see another sanctioning body that pays. And those aren't in poker chips, correct?
correct.
Okay,
You've been here
I've
8
seen
years.
the checks that go out. That's a whole lot of checks.
real checks.
Real checks.
Yeah, they're printed on real paper too.
Wow. That's
It's not one of them Happy Gilmore things. Been here 8
But-
years.
I just want to say that over $600,000 is a lot of money.
Right.
It's more than I got.
It's more than $500,000.
Yep.
It is a colossal amount of money.
Right. Yeah, so just in the time that the 8 years I've been here, there's probably been $5 million in point fund go out. That's all cash.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Cash.
No chips.
No chips.
You know, and
What
of
else
course,
you working on?
Of course, Friesen's not the only one, you know, that puts money right back into the point funds, you know, which without any of them, any of the sponsors, partners, we couldn't even do this podcast. You know, we wouldn't have this podcast room. And,
Right.
you know, it's fantastic. So, you know, as you get your, you know, contingencies, your track point funds, your, you know, so on and so forth, make sure you think about those sponsors that support IMCA and support our racing. So otherwise, I'm just working on new sponsors, trying to find more already for next season. So getting their ear now. And just like drivers, you know, you have to go to your local stores before the race season starts to get a sponsorship, you know.
Got to go
or-
before the first of next year because
Right.
they're already making their budgets in
Right,
August,
for their
September.
fiscal years.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
once again, and, you know, we talk about the Friesen sponsorship that you brought in, and people got to keep in mind, you started in February,
Yep.
basically.
90 days this week.
Yeah.
That means I have to be reviewed by you.
Don't
Oh,
worry.
boy.
Are you,
I haven't had a review. I haven't had a review in the 7 years. By
so
Jim.
does that mean you're off probation?
I hope so.
Okay.
No, he's still on double secret probation.
Did you go through the initiation process yet?
We like to call that hazing, Jerry.
Depends.
Well, that's
I haven't.
I hung out
I
with-
haven't recovered from it yet, as you can obviously tell.
I hung out with Jim for a couple days, so is that enough of the hazing process or initiation? I'm sorry.
no, it's not. I mean that segues into another thing, and
You
Gotcha.
Yeah, no. But once again, for jumping into this deal, the season had already started. By the time your first day came, I'd bet I'd been to 15, 20 races. And I'd taken Uber rides in Yuma, Arizona from
Yep.
people. And-
hell of an Uber driver.
But, you know, once again, for you to come in, step in here and done what you did basically in the middle of a season where, you know, most people have their sponsorship money spent for the year, to come in and do it, it's kind of, it says a lot about you, Carson.
Well, I appreciate that.
And, you know,
You know, I came here today with the intention, after the comment about me not knowing what the $40,000 deal was, of getting you guys all gifts that talk about that are just really fitting for you. But unfortunately, Amazon did not deliver them in time.
You
So
have,
when they
we
get
have
there-
gifts coming?
What?
When they get to my house, I will send them down here, and you guys have to open them on the next podcast.
I mean, will they be wrap? Will you wrap them with our
No.
names on them so we can open them up so it's like this present?
be like,
I mean, I can,
Christmas
but
morning,
I
Jerry.
wrap with newspaper.
So we can't
well,
open
time
them
out.
until the
You're-
podcast.
You're married, right?
Yeah, she does
knows
all
how
the
to
wrapping.
yeah. So it's just have her wrap them.
Yeah.
That won't
No,
work.
we want you to wrap them because we want to, then we can show your wrapping ability.
And we can make
Right.
fun of it.
Yes. No, we wouldn't make fun of anybody. Would
No,
we?
not on this podcast.
No.
No fun zone
I'm
here.
kind of curious. This is,
Kind of curious.
Oh yeah,
especially since it matches our personality.
you know,
I'm quite terrified to know what he
and
bought.
some-
I'm gonna get a box of.
And once
I've
again,
never gotten a box of sarcasm before.
I know you did.
Never got a box. No, I do get a box of stupid every day.
We know you didn't know about the 40,000, but are you familiar with the Super Nationals as an event?
a little bit.
Okay.
Are you
Little
familiar
bit.
that it's 40th year, right?
Yes.
Are you
realize
familiar
it's
with now people think this might pay 40,000 to win the modified?
Yes.
familiar?
Are you familiar with your job?
No.
You know where the race takes place?
A little bit. I was there
I
once.
saw you there. I
Yeah,
saw
that's where I met
Carson
him.
at
Yeah.
Boone.
Yeah.
Wow. It's
Then I hung out in their booth.
Yeah, he
The rest of
actually
the night.
hung out with us.
this is
It was cool that night. It was chilly.
Yeah,
This
we had a
is what?
heater going. This is
this
what.
is a pretty big event. I don't know if you know that.
No.
Okay.
I have not looked at any of the pictures to see the growth of this
I
fantastic
mean, there's
40-year
more. I mean,
event.
there's more than two less than a million cars.
Rumor
More than
has
two
it.
less than a
Rumor has it. I don't know if you're familiar with the manufacturer's route.
Yes.
Rumor has it you've already sold it out,
Correct.
and will be expanding.
Correct.
First time hearing of this.
Yes, we will be
Breaking
expanding.
news.
Where's your breaking news?
Yeah, where's your breaking news?
We need Jim's
Nate,
green
where's
screen
your
stat.
breaking news?
So you've sold out Manufacturers Row for
Yes.
Super Nationals and expanded it beyond
Where are
its
you going to
current
expand
confines?
it to?
Probably the main pit area that's through that gate where Carl sits,
Yeah.
right? Be past them.
We might even
Continue
take
past.
the tech tent out and just make that all vendor space.
That tech tent's kind of a permanent fixture now. I mean, it's concrete
Put a vendor in
pillars
there.
and-
Right.
Put a vendor in there.
Do what NASCAR did and just make one big tent for vendors.
But once
That would
again,
work.
not knowing how much the event pays and really not knowing much about the event, he's already sold it out.
So I have faith in you, Carson,
Well, thank you.
that Jim and Brett's splout of the mouth last week could happen.
Not mine. I want to go on record saying I had nothing to do with that.
That came right from the chair where you're sitting right now.
Yeah.
So now that you've filled that chair, you'll
You have to fill the
You'll
40,000.
have to fill the pockets.
Good news, bad news.
But hey,
Carson.
there's not pockets. There's just one pocket you have to fill.
The drivers.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever wins that thing.
You know, I've always said we have two sponsors that we care about. That's drivers and promoters, 1A, 1B.
You care about me, Jim?
Oh shit, you're a promoter now. Because you notice I didn't say drivers, promoters, and announcers.
Well, yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Now I'm
sorry,
kind of
friend.
partially hurt.
It's okay.
Sorry.
I still can't wait to see your.
My box of sarcasm that Carson sent me.
I'm looking forward to this year, just seeing Carson at his first time at the Super
Well,
Nationals.
I talked to him his first trip over at Boone a couple months ago, and it was just neat to watch him soak it all in, thinking this is
That's
what
just
will
a
happen.
weekly show.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a fun time, though.
But, really, the Frostbuster probably wasn't even as big as a weekly show last week.
Yeah, they had a great car count last week.
What did they
Yeah.
have for the Frostbuster? I don't remember.
180 or 190 something.
That's right. It was similar.
Right in
It
there.
was
Yeah.
only,
Right.
that was only in 4 divisions.
Right.
But once again, I think, I've always tried to tell people, promoters, racers, whoever, about, what's the Super Nationals like? And there is absolutely no way words can describe what happens, what you see, what Boone is all about without experiencing it.
Yeah, there's nothing you can say that
No.
you have. It's something you have to experience to understand firsthand. You can't just listen to what the stories that people tell you.
Because there are stories.
Oh,
But it's changed so much and it's grown so much that every year it's new. I mean, it isn't even a.
the stories that I can tell from Super Nationals back in the 80s, when I was. I remember my first time meeting people from Wisconsin. Well, I don't remember.
Wisconsin tent.
Yes. I might have been a little underage at the Wisconsin tent, but nobody told me to not eat the fruit. They just kept giving me fruit. I didn't
That's
know
a
what it
mistake. The
was.
cherries.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the first year you and I announced that and we were on that stage and there was a lady up there who people wanted to see more of?
Yeah.
Do you remember? You don't remember this? We'll have to talk about it when the show's over.
One of my favorite all-time Super Nationals memory it involved Jerry.
I've never had a good Super Nationals memory with Jerry.
Oh,
What was it?
I almost had a great Super Nationals memory.
Yeah, well,
with Jerry.
we'll pass on that and go talk to Carson.
No,
somewhere.
let's talk about that.
See, the story that
Super
Jim is going to
Nationals.
tell you is not actually how that story happens.
it involves trying to pet a police dog.
I did not try to pet a dog.
Did you hit a horse?
No,
Was it
we corralled some chickens one year.
Corey
Chicken Man?
Roses?
No,
He was there though.
he was there.
He was laughing.
I
with
heard
me.
this story.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
okay.
good puppy, good puppy.
Real good puppy.
They don't like to be
No.
called good puppies.
That's not exactly how the story.
think
Jim
you-
likes to tell
Jim,
stories.
I think you pissed him off. You crossed
Jerry's
the
trying
line.
to backtrack here, but
backtracking
we'll,
here.
we'll fill the studio with witnesses that saw the police dog about bite Jerry's junk off.
No, it got me right in the thigh.
Oh, so it was nowhere near your job.
Yeah, nowhere near that, Jim. I mean, holy cow! Don't pit. I mean, if you're gonna lie about everything.
Oh, I think we can officially say the podcast has hit a new low when we're talking about Jerry's junk.
Yeah.
Are we an hour in yet, Nate?
Okay, we're an hour in.
Please tell me an hour was 20 minutes ago and none of this stuck to the tape.
Oh no, we started without you. And
Are we going to still grab the birthday boy?
now he went to lunch.
Oh, he went to
Happy birthday to Bill Martin.
Yeah, public relations director.
Director Bill Martin.
62 years young today.
Man.
And he's gonna retire.
He's semi-retired.
Not
He can't stay
retired.
away
He
from
has
us.
too much fun here.
Yeah.
I think The Office, quite honestly, is his escape. So it would be hard to retire and then not have an escape. Not from home, but just something to do.
So that's like his escape room in there.
Pretty much.
Oh,
Kind of like The Office.
Yeah.
If this was The Office, who would Bill be? Toby?
I suppose. Well, yeah, because you're Dwight.
Yeah, no
Like
doubt.
Dwight
Dwight.
Schrute.
You're Dwight Schrute.
Who's Brett?
Well,
he can't be Michael.
No.
He'd be more like, I'm trying to think, California. Robert California, maybe?
Who?
The guy that replaced Michael.
Oh, I can't think of his name.
Robert California.
What real name? I'm trying to think of the
I
actor's
don't know.
name.
That's his name, Robert California.
That could be.
Carson?
You an
I
Office
have no
fan?
clue. My wife is. I am not.
So okay, so you got us gifts by our personality. Now we
Yes.
expect next time your wife has us named as Office characters.
That sounds good.
I think I'm Jim. Not that Jim.
You wish you could be Jim.
Nobody wishes they could be Jim.
I was thinking more.
I'm probably
Yeah,
Oscar. I'm Oscar.
Yeah.
I'm Oscar.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're Oscar.
Never mind. I know.
You're kind of tossing it up there, right?
I guess I'm Oscar. Are we done yet?
We can be really quick. Thanks
Well,
everybody
you know-
for tuning on in.
Well, we got to
It's been
talk
a-
about the races coming up, though.
We got some
there's-
races.
Yeah, there's
We
some
got some
races
races.
coming up.
Yep, we got the Mount Rushmore Clash.
Well, Rushmore State Clash in
There you
South
go.
Dakota. Was it
Wagner, South Dakota.
Wagner,
Okay.
Park Jefferson,
Raceway
the
Park?
new Raceway
Park.
Park, the new Raceway Park.
Yep, all increased
That's a-
purses. They're all for their increased purse, but every one of those is a weekly points event. So if you are a local, you will want to make sure
That's
that
right.
you're
Yeah,
not missing
don't
night.
skip it.
So
No.
you're racing for increased prize money on a regular point night. Can't beat
Weekly
that.
points and more money. Winner, chicken dinner.
May 23rd.
Oh,
I'm going back to Spencer.
I'm going to Spencer. Wait, you're going?
May
You're going
23rd?
May 23rd. I won't be in Spencer.
You're going to Spencer. Are you like their regular guy up there this year?
I'm the regular fill-in guy, and apparently I'm filling in every show, which is okay because I love that place. I mean, I grew up going to the county
Did
fair.
you
or
did you climb up to the press box?
No, there's no way in
Oh,
Sam's hell I was going up that damn thing.
You wuss.
I mean, I got up to the top of the grandstands. Now here's how it is. You come up the back of the grandstands in this catwalk, and you look straight down. And we were working on lights at the racetrack, and my brother kept saying, "Get in the basket, get in the basket." No. I mean, I get 10 foot off ground, done. They go, "Hey, you got to go." We're not. Get that table set up right here. I'm going to sit in the grandstands tonight. There's no way I'm
You did not go up, huh?
no. Because the thing about it, I guess I'd maybe be a little not so scarier if the front wasn't wide open and you could fall out. Or push someone.
Push or be pushed
fall
out.
out.
Jim,
Accidentally.
are you sure you're not going to Spencer on next 23rd for 5,000 to win stock cars?
I will be in Spencer as of right now, but I won't be in the press box because I'm going to be out amongst the people, Jerry.
Okay. Well, I am. I'm amongst the crowd. You go be amongst the racer and we'll have it covered.
I'm amongst the people.
What do they got? They got some, what else is coming up big racing wise?
Every, Jerry, every IMCA race is a big race.
We've got 100 just this weekend alone. I think I checked. We have around 130 events just this weekend, and not everybody's open yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
We're going to spend Memorial Day together.
You know who
Can't
opens
wait.
tomorrow?
Oh, I know. Who?
Tomorrow is Thursday.
You'll
Who
be able to
races
watch
Thursday?
the race.
Oh, it's Cassuth County
And
Speedway.
every race, where can you watch that,
You
Jerry?
can watch that on IMCA TV.
Right there.
Nate, where's the schedule?
We need a schedule. Roll the credits, Nate. We need a an opening to the show.
Yeah, Nate's been promising that for.
And we
he
need.
promised us a
I
great
thought it was a
logo
good
and he
opening.
came through.
That was a good opening
I
today. When we
did too,
opened it
Jim.
while Brett
we
and
opened it
Jim
while
were
they
in the.
gone. How did they? How did they go to the bathroom together?
I'm thinking
They're like
it's-
two ladies.
I'm thinking we need like a Sam Rothstein, the way he used to open his show in Vegas. Oh, right over everybody's head here.
I'm 28
Well, I mean,
years
we're
old.
not 750.
I'm 48 and I still
can't.
don't.
I mean, you were one of the
Who's
founding
Sam
founders
Rothstein?
in Vegas.
Who's Sam
Nate,
Rothstein?
help me out here.
He doesn't know either. Who's Sam Rothstein?
Nate, can you just help me out with this?
You know what? I'll tell you what. We're gonna leave the Sam Rothstein to the Facebook. We'll check the Facebook. Somebody will have an answer to
Who Sam Rothstein is?
Sam Rothstein.
Are you gonna get on?
No. Wait for our listeners.
Can't get on the
our
Google.
viewers.
You can't get on the
Oh,
Google,
yeah.
Jerry.
Well, I can because I'm going to want to know. So, I mean, I got an hour drive back to Marshalltown. And I'll have some time working. I'll.
But
How long of a drive back?
You know,
an
let's
hour.
let's
I think
roll
it's
the
an hour and a
credits.
half.
Let's roll the credits on this deal.
Okay.
Since
We're
Nate
good.
doesn't have the IMCA TV schedule that we can see,
You can log on to IMCA TV and
Yeah, you can
check
just
it
log
out
on yourself,
yourself.
and you'd get there faster.
but I
apparently,
do,
here
but
today.
I do know tomorrow night,
Cassuth County.
Ron Reefer promoter,
Yep.
be a hell of a show.
Yes, it will be.
What do they call
Speaking
that?
of hell of a
Thunderdome?
shows, I think it's time for us to get out of this one.
Folks, it's been a great. I don't know if it's been a real grade 8, but it's been something. We saw Brett all jacked up. I mean, that was more than Mountain Dew. There ain't no. Whew, Carson's here. He's gonna try
With
Carson.
presents next week.
Yes. You gonna come back next week with our gifts?
No, I'll ship them.
Oh, yeah. I went to
doesn't-
Kmart
so if-
Kmart too, and I shipped my pants.
If
too.
he doesn't want to be here when we open them, should we be scared?
Yes, I think we really. No, because he was going to be here today. So, hey, if you can't make it out to a local IMCA race in your area, make sure and catch all the live action on IMCA TV. Don't forget that 30-day replay pass for $24.95. You can go back and watch like Spencer or Super Nationals or anything that's on the platform and anything that has been archived on IMCA TV. So, from all of us to all of you, we'll be back again with some of the same shenanigans and our gifts from Carson. So tune
Can
in
hardly
whenever-
wait.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully.
I'm so giddy with
Hopefully,
the
less energy drinks.
Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully the rock star is gone. Have a good day. Have a good evening. We're out.